Welcome to the Motivational Medium podcast. I'm Anne-Marie Lord, a psychic medium, author, and the founder of the Motivational Medium Academy. On this podcast, we'll explore intriguing topics such as mediumship, psychic abilities, and the amazing idea that we all have intuition within us. Whether you're a believer, skeptic, or somewhere in between, get ready to unlock your extraordinary potential as we discover the supernatural world together. If you want your questions featured on the show, be sure to join my tribe by subscribing to my newsletter at annemarielord.com. Let's go. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited about today's podcast. I've got lots of questions and some of them from my live events that I do. As you know, when I do these live events, the first half of the platform is all about mediumship. And then the second half, I throw the audience wide open and we get some questions and answers. And I love this part of it because I get to explain not only what mediumship is all about and what psychic ability is all about, but some of the deep questions that people really want to ask and want some answers for. So what I've done is I've picked out some of the questions that I put all these questions in a big bowl and I get to answer some of the questions, but unfortunately not all of them because there's like 85 people at these live sold out events. And I don't get through everyone's questions. So I like to bring some of them on the podcast. I won't give no names out. So if you've been at any of the live events, then this question might just be for you. But let's jump into the questions and let me give you some guidance. Now, this isn't just for anybody. This is for everybody. I believe with some of these questions that we can all gain some answers and some guidance from our loved ones in spirit. Okay, so let's open up first. So one of the first questions I got was, how do I know my dad is not angry with me for not getting to say goodbye? Well, the first thing I want to say is that in all the years that I've been doing this, and I've been doing this since I started in 2009. However, I started working for myself in 2013-14. So in all the years that I've done this, I have never had a spirit come through saying that they were angry because somebody never got to say goodbye. Now, when spirit comes through, you've taken the time to come to my office or to one of the live events. And, spirit is so excited about you being there and they show up just as much as you do. With all the enthusiasm, with all the excitement of they've seen you, they still get to see you, but you haven't seen them. So they're excited for this new connection on a different level. So when they come in, they never, ever say, I'm so annoyed that they never got there on time, or I'm angry that they never got to say goodbye. And they don't even come across with, I'm angry that we didn't speak a few months before I passed or a few years before I passed. That is all surrounded, in my belief, in the physical ego and the physical mind or the physical being, really. This is on a different level. This is all to do with energy and soul connection, soul to soul connection. So when people come through and for this person who says, is my dad angry with me? Absolutely not. They want to come through and the first thing it's hello, and obviously they validate who they are and might give me names and dates and times and how they pass. But one of the big things that I get, because I'm an energetic person and I'm a kinesthetic learner, so a lot of my things are done, a lot of my readings, if you like, and a lot of my learnings are done through feeling and senses. So whenever I bring somebody through, it's always through a big essence of who they are. Some people have even said, it's like sitting in the room with my mom, or it's like sitting in the room with my dad or my loved ones, whoever it is. And that's what what I bring through from spirit. I'm just the conduit. They come in with love and energy and gratitude that their loved ones have decided to come in and, that they can do this. So to answer the question simply, is my dad angry with me for not getting to say goodbye. Absolutely not. And some of the funny things that I've been shown by Spirit are, when, like myself, I live in Australia and a lot of my family live in the UK. Sometimes through illness, people cannot get to Australia, or we can't get to see each other through illness and through restrictions. It could be financial, it could be health, whatever it is. At one time it was COVID, but we couldn't get to see each other. So what Spirit showed me, which I thought was quite funny, was as soon as they close their eyes, it's as if they say, oh, I haven't seen our Anne-Marie for ages, so I'm going to jump on the Spirit's Emirates flight and I'm going to get to Australia in the blink of an eye and I'm going to see how they're all doing. So please, 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 I cannot emphasize enough. Don't stress about not getting to say goodbye. Spirit, never ever worry about that. And as soon as they close their eyes, they are connected with you, And the other thing about people not speaking or falling out when they're here and then they don't get to say goodbye because of there's been a rift in the family or a rift between them. Trust me, when Spirit go to the spirit world, when your loved ones go to the spirit world, they often show me that this was an earth energy situation. It was never taken to the spirit world. Okay, so there's a lot of forgiveness. And what we need to do for ourselves is also forgive. There's so much closure. And if you ever go to see a medium, and this is the case, you will find this out. So please acknowledge the signs. Even if you see your signs from your loved one and you think, oh, my mum wasn't talking to me, or my dad wasn't speaking to me, or my brother or my sister or whoever it is, your loved one will be still trying to show you signs that they're okay. And this was an earthbound situation, not a spiritual situation. So will never be taken to the spirit world. I hope that helps. So in a nutshell, is your dad angry? Absolutely not. Now, I got another question written on a piece of paper. It said, my mum, I miss her so much. Is she looking after us? Now, I want you to think about this. Is your mum, or was your mum person? Now, this is for everybody. If you're missing a loved one so much, like I know what it's like to miss my mum because I lost my mum very young. I was only 27 and my mum was 47. And if you've read my book, The Grateful 3 Approach to Life, you'll hear the whole story in there. But is your mum, or was your mum, the person who would care for you, would show you her love, would be around? And if the answer to that is yes, then absolutely 1,000,000%, there's nowhere else this person will be, and her energy will be all around you. But sometimes we are so submerged in grief that we can't see this. Now, a lot of you know I'm in the process of writing my second book. And one of the chapters, it's quite a big chapter in the new book, is all about signs, how to get them, how they can help heal us. A lot of stuff like that, how we can see them, what we expect and what we ask to do and what we ask not to do. Now, in this chapter, there's a big part for me is about our expectations. And one of the big no-nos for me is when we strike a deal with our loved ones and we say things to them like, will you show me birds when you go to the spirit world? Or will you show me butterflies? Or will you show me dragonflies? Or will you show me a red squirrel? Whatever it is. I would say do not set these deals, if you like, with your loved ones before they go to the spirit world. Because one, when they get to the spirit world, they don't know what they're capable of. And two, if you are left here and you don't see that specific sign, then you might think to yourself, are my loved ones still around? Did they get to the spirit world okay? Oh my God, I haven't seen this sign for over 10 years. So that means my loved one has not been around me for 10 years. And unfortunately, what is happening is your loved one's trying to show you all these different signs. And we are just not aware of them because we are earth people. We are mortal here in this world, and we are expecting to see signs that we had agreed on when the other person was still in the physical world. So I would say this is a massive no-no. So if you've actually done this with your loved ones, I want you to let that go now. And I want you to be open up to anything. Think about what your loved ones liked. Think about what they enjoyed. You know, my auntie's name is Rose, and she actually loved roses. Her husband used to grow roses for her, and they had a big garden full of roses. So for me, every time I see a rose or a name on a number plate, because a lot of you know I get my signs from number plates because I can't read for myself. I can read for other people just fine, but just not for myself. So whenever I see a rose, I put my hand on my heart and I say, thanks, Rose. I know you're around. And I also think about what's going on at that time. You know, is there a situation in our family or in our lives that I need this little hello from Spirit? You know, it could be not, and it could be just a little hello from Spirit, but usually they are very close around when we need them. So can we feel them in the early days? Absolutely. However, grief is overwhelming, and don't ever underestimate the power of grief, because it can keep us in such a head down, bum up space where we're just about functioning. We haven't got our head raised to see specific, subtle signs. Okay? But please know, whether you're seeing the signs or you're not, without a shadow of a doubt, in all the years that I've done this, Spirit shows me that they have never left you, and they are very, very, very much around, still taking care of you and sending you massive amounts of love. I hope that answered your question. Now, I've got another question. Someone asked me, I applied for my dream job and I didn't get it. Why? Because, my friend, that job may have not been meant for you. Even though we don't see the whole path in front of us, we don't need to see the whole path in front of us. We have to trust. Now, many, many years ago, I worked for a company when I was working as a nurse. I worked for a company, and I even stepped up and worked in a role. And I thought this role was mine, and I thought the job was mine because I was working in it. Anyway, went for the interview and the job was given to somebody else. And I was devastated because I'd been acting up in this role for about 3 months. And I couldn't get my head around why this job. I was so annoyed, so angry, so absolutely pissed to the core that why wasn't this job mine? And I couldn't understand why. However, looking back, and I always say to people, you know, life happens for us a lot of the time, not to us, for us, but we just have to find the path. Now, when we're pissed like I was, we can't see the wood for the trees. So I couldn't understand how this was happening for me. However, looking back now, massively happened for me. If I would have got that job, I would have stayed in the nursing. I would have stayed in the career that I was in. I took on, because like I do with everything, I take everything on hugely and put 100% into it. I left that job because I was so annoyed. I left the job and I went into a job where it allowed me the time and space to develop and to come out of the nursing closet, as I always say, into the psychic world, into the mediumship world. Now, I have gone on to have an amazing, successful business. I see people from all over the world. I do live events for lots of people. They nearly always sell out audiences, which is fantastic. It just blows me mind, and I'm so grateful. I also got to write my first book, which is sold all over the world and won awards. And now I'm in the pleasure of writing my second book, all about mediumship and how it's got a massive healing power. Without not getting that job, I don't know whether I would have got where I am today. However, through not getting the job is exactly how I got from there to where I am today. So, my friend, if you didn't get that job, it's not the end of the world. It just might be the beginning of your world. Okay, so keep your eyes open, feel the pain, feel the pissed offness if you have to. Don't stay there long. And then look forward, okay? The job was never supposed to be yours. There's something much better for you and something that will suit you much better. Okay, so I hope that helped with that one. Oh, this was an interesting one. Will I get back to the UK to see my family? Now, a lot of us know what's going on in the world, and I just sit and send prayers and healing and lots of love energy. I call it a big ball of love energy that we all have got above us. To me, it's like your higher self, your God, your angels, your loved ones, your spirit, whatever you want to call it. I call it the ball of love. And if we've got this endless ball of energetic love that we can actually pray and tap into on a daily basis, then isn't it worth tapping into this? I do mine of a night time when I'm in bed, and I send love from this ball of endless love to the world. I surround the world in healing. And that, my friend, is all we can do at this moment. You know, us mere mortals here who don't have a say in the big world, we can just sit and we can send love to the world and just keep praying. And do I think that this person can get to the UK? Absolutely. I do feel like I didn't want to make this like a prediction or a premonition, but we all know what's going on. However, I do feel the world for me is a strong place of love and positive energy, much, much more than negative energy. And if we tap into the positive, the love ball, the love energy, the positive energy, turn off your television, don't watch the crap that's on your social medias, don't listen to people getting dragged into a lot of stuff, then if you stay within your zone and you keep meditating and you keep putting love out into this world, then I am a true believer that your world becomes easier and we can make as a collective a massive change. So I hope that one helps. Will you get to see your family in the UK? Yeah, I think you will. But keep sending out the fixing energy, the fixing of love. Okay. Oh, this was an interesting one as well. Do you believe in reincarnation? And if it's true, how do I see my Nan in my daughter? But Nan still comes through to me in readings. Now, this is just my belief, okay? So it's not coming from a religious place or anything like that. This is just my belief in working with the spirit world and the energies of people over I think it's about 16, no, it's longer, about 15, 16, 17 years. It's over 15 years. Now, what I see is, and I talk about this in my new book, and the new book will be out towards the end of the year, so I'll let you know all about that. Anyway, what happened for me, let me try and explain first what I believe in. I believe in we are a collective soul. I honestly believe that a portion of our soul, one of my friends, Hannah McIntyre, you've heard me talk to Hannah on social media, and she has a social platform called Spirit Social. She actually talks about this as the soul being a pizza. And I thought, what a great analogy, you know? So if you imagine that we are one big, massive pizza of a soul, yeah? And a part of this soul needs to come down and incarnate into this world to experience the lessons that are needed for that part of the soul. And then when it passes, it goes back to the pizza of the soul, if you like. So we become a collectiveness, we become a whole. Now, I believe that if our Nan, we see a part of our Nan in our children or in, like this lady said, her granddaughter, then I believe a part of her Nan's soul has incarnated into her great-granddaughter, so her granddaughter's daughter, to experience some experiences, beautiful experiences, and the journey of life, really. And that's how the nan can still come through from the spirit world, because she hasn't come back in as such to the child, just a part of her soul energy. So I hope that makes a bit of sense. Let me try and explain this in another way. My beautiful Auntie May, who was my mum's sister, she unfortunately passed away when she was 51. It was such a sad time. She got sick when we thought she had gallbladder issues. She was taken into hospital with what we thought was gallstones. And unfortunately, she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and passed away 8 weeks later. She got taken in on the 14th of April and she passed on the 13th of June. Now, why I talk about this and I talk about May in my new book is because my auntie and my eldest daughter, there was a special connection about them too. There was something really, really special. Even though she passed just after my daughter's first birthday, there was this connection it was so beautiful to watch. They had such a great bond, which I also had a great bond with my auntie. We had something immense. She was like a second mum to me. So when my daughter was having my first granddaughter, I remember jumping in the car. Her husband had messaged me and he said that there was, Ashley had wanted me to go to the hospital because there was things not going too good and a few complications and she was getting really scared. So I jumped in the car in the nighttime and I drove down the freeway, and the freeway was empty at the time. I was like 15 years ago, and anyone that knows about Perth knows that it's grown massively over the last 20 years since I've been here. But 15 years ago at midnight on the freeway, you would probably get no one on there. So I'm on the freeway in my car and it's like midnight and a car drove past me. And I was thinking about my mum actually in the car. I was actually talking away to my mum saying, "Oh, mum, can you make sure the two of them are okay? And, can you look over them and be with them as they go through this?" And I had this funny feeling, this strange sensation. And a car drove past me, and on the number plate of the car, this is why I always get my signs from number plates, there was Ash, A-S-H. Now, my daughter's name is Ashley. And this car flies past me. I was like, oh, wow. And then just all of a sudden, May came into my head. So I knew without a shadow of a doubt. Now, I talked about in the last podcast all about knowings and like you know. If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to that podcast. It's got a lovely meditation in there as well, but it's teaching you how to get in touch with your own knowing. But I knew like a shadow of a doubt that May was there, and I was like, everything's going to be okay. So I felt really calm and I stopped panicking, and I thought everything's going to be all right. So I drove myself off to the hospital, which was miles away from where we was, because she was taken in, because she gets gestational diabetes. She was taken into one of the main hospitals in the city. So yeah, I went in and everything was okay. She had a little bit of a bumpy time, Ashley and my granddaughter, but they were both well and, great. And I knew my name was Anne-Marie, that May had been, I'm sure my mum was too, but I know that May was absolutely connected. Now, she'd kill me for saying this, but May always had her thumbs were a different shape. And she used to go mad. And she used to always say she had like fat thumbs, or her thumbs were a different shape, And she really wasn't that keen on her thumbs. Anyway, and this is, my granddaughter's going to kill me saying this too, but as my granddaughter got older, she said to me one day, "Nan, have you seen my thumbs?" Oh my God, I was like blown away. She has got the same thumbs as my Auntie May. Beautiful thumbs, by the way, I think. So do I feel, or do I know, like many of you that be listening to this, that we can, part of the pizza, don't forget, part of our soul can incarnate as a loved one, and typical that it would have been for the connection that me and her had and her and my daughter had, that it would have been my first granddaughter and also her first child. Absolutely. And I know my name's Anne-Marie, that my granddaughter has got her very own guardian angel. And even though we all venture on this journey to go through things and to learn and to grow, I know that she's got her own guardian angel. And for me, we laugh about it really, because when she shows me her thumbs, I go, oh my gosh, it's like, So when you look at your children or grandchildren and you think you see something within them that reminds you of your loved one in spirit, absolutely, as a part of their soul, come back to incarnate on this journey. Absolutely. And if you go to see someone like me and that person comes through from spirit, please know that this can happen because of the pizza of the soul. There's a part of your nan's soul that has incarnated into your grandchild. Oh, it's into your daughter. It was my grandchild. Part of your grand's soul has incarnated into your daughter. You're absolutely right. And like you know. I hope you've enjoyed this. I will keep going with some of the questions over the next few months. I know the podcast has gone back to monthly rather than fortnightly, but trust me, this is only while I'm working on the book. And at the end of the year, as soon as I get that book out there, then the podcast will go back to fortnightly. I'm so loving that you're on this journey with me. And also, if you enjoy it, please subscribe and share it to your friends. And give us a thumbs up. Even come on and give us a review or a comment. We love all that kind of stuff. So take care, guys. I'll either see you face to face, one of my events, or over Zoom if you're anywhere else in the world. Don't forget, you can book in on annemarielord.com. And if you go on and you see I've not got that many spaces left for the rest of the year. So if you want to go on and you book in, then book in and send me or Taylor an email and let us know that you've booked in, and we can put you on the internal cancellation list. I don't have an external cancellation list. It's only the people that are booked on and that are waiting to come and see me, that if anything comes up, I offer it to the people already booked in. And if you can't get in this year, then I'd love you to come and see me at my live event, which is on the 20th of June in Clarkson in Crystal Clarity. And last month was another sellout event with 85 people there, and the tickets were just going like crazy. So you can also get them tickets as well on my website at annemarielord.com. Have a beautiful day, and thanks for sharing this time with me on the podcast. See you on the next one. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this show. It's important to note that while I'm here to inspire, encourage and guide you, I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist or a doctor. Join me again in 2 weeks for more captivating revelations on the supernatural. Remember to be in with a chance to have your questions answered on the podcast. Subscribe to my newsletter at annemarielord.com. Stay in the tribe to vibe. I appreciate you guys. See you next time.